wellness warriors? Wellness warriorettes is what this episode is for. So guys, if you're watching, two options. Sign off, because this is going to be TMI, or forward to your girlfriend or wife or daughter or sister or whomever, even grandma, if she still gets a period. We're going to talk about the flow today. And I'm not just talking about the flow, but I want to talk to you about something that is super near and dear to my heart right now, because my niche is growing into that of women's self-care, either, you know, before pregnancy, cleaning their bodies up so that they're as clean and healthy as possible, so that the odds of having an unhealthy baby are lower. And believe me, we need like a year these days to clean ourselves up before we have kids because of all of the toxic things that we're exposed to, one of which I'm going to minimize your exposure today just by this one tip. And then women who are pregnant, what to eat while they're pregnant, and then what to do when they're breastfeeding, and then beyond. And then of course menopause too, because I deal with many, many women, and we're the most sensitive to all of these things because our hormones are so much more in flux than men. So here's what we're here to talk about today. Alternatives to tampons. So I don't mean not to wear anything, but we're going to talk about this. So let's get into it. About a year ago, I had my copper IUD removed, and if you haven't seen my video on my nasty copper toxicity from the IUD, I'll put the link right here. But I think that it's important for you guys to understand this journey that I've been on, because all women need to hear this, because there really is no safe version of birth control anymore. They're all man-made, and they're all very laced with toxins and chemicals that screw up the pH of our vaginal environment. They also give us all kinds of synthetic hormones that screw us up, make us crazy, gain weight. Okay, I'm just gonna stay away from that topic right now because that'll be a separate video. But anyway, one thing I was thinking about is recently, last year, that if you guys were aware, we tried to pass it to where our labeling system would give us a right to know if there were genetically modified organisms in our food. I, for one, did a lot of different things to advocate that. I did march against Monsanto. Monsanto is the creator of GMOs. If you don't know what GMOs are, look it up. That's what Google's for. There is no evidence whatsoever yet that's been tested that GMOs are safe for human consumption or for insertion. So I would rather not be a lab rat. Would you? Are you cool with that? So I don't even want to test it. When I found out that it wasn't passed, I thought there's no way, because 90-something% of Americans wanted to know. So of course, here we are again, the people in power win. And meanwhile, how do we get around that? Because we've all been taught, use a tampon when we have our period, use a tampon or a pad. And okay, I don't like panty lines. I wear spandex a lot to teach yoga. You might not. Whatever floats your boat. I wear thongs pretty much all the time. So I don't like to wear pads, and I feel like I'm wearing a diaper. It's up to you. If you want to wear pads, cool, whatever floats your boat. But I was using tampons. What do we know about GMOs and cotton? That 90-something% of cotton that's made in America is genetically modified. So this is not a good thing when we have so many different things on the rise for women, including PCOS and ovarian cysts and cancer in general. Lots of women are having to remove their parts, which is not cool, because then you don't have a period, you can't have kids. Whenever surgery is necessary and you have parts that are removed, you're going down. I work with a lot of women who have hormonal fluctuations after having things removed, like ovaries. It's not cool. It's not cool. So those are a couple of things. Yeast infections is another one. Also urinary tract infections is another one. I'm a huge long-time sufferer of UTI'S. I was a sufferer for 10 years until I started cleaning my body up and using this. And then another thing is HPV and all sorts of other sexually transmitted diseases. So these things are all as a result of having a vaginal environment of pH that is way too high. Like our vagina is supposed to be pretty acidic, so that if a guy tries to, you know, take advantage of us, then our vagina is going to kill him with our acid. Just kidding. What it is acidic for is to fight things off. And there's a reason why it's acidic. So you may have heard that acidic environments in the body are bad, but not in certain places. Like the stomach and the vagina are two places that should be acidic. And it should be a certain level. So the higher pH, the less acidic, the less our vagina has the opportunity to fight things off, like cancer. And it gives it just a breeding ground to grow. So why would I insert or why would you insert tampons that are genetically modified cotton into your vaginal wall to disrupt the pH of your vaginal environment so that your chances of cancer and sexually transmitted diseases, yeast infections, like I mentioned, rise? Here's how to get around that. So the Diva Cup is something that I found. I Googled for non-GMO tampons a year ago, and I was hoping to find some. And I found this, and I was like, what is this thing? Is this a shot glass? Like a portable shot glass? If you're like, at a block party, or if you're having a tailgate party, you're like, hey, give me a shot. I guess you could if you really wanted to, because I carry this thing around with me when I know my period's coming around. I do have an app called My Days, and that's how I keep track of my periods. We should be having them every 28 days or so. And I am not, for the record, I'm not at any kind of birth control. And I will do a separate video on how to track your period so that you actually know when you're most fertile. But separate issue. I carry this around when I know my period's coming around the corner. Within 5 days before I think my period's coming around the corner, just in case I'm early, which I typically am not, and that's a sign of a healthy person, I have this in my purse. And so if I do have my period, then I have this with me. Never needed a tampon in the last year. So this Diva Cup saves you 3 things. It saves you mess, it saves you cost, and it saves you disease. So what do I mean by cost? How much do you spend each period? Like $5 for a box of tampons? Depending on how heavy your flow is, you might even be spending more than that. And how embarrassing it is to have our brother or significant other or fellow guy to go pick us up some tampons because we are in bed with cramps. That's another thing. That's not normal either. But watch other videos that I have on why that's not normal. Periods should be pretty pleasant, where you're just bleeding and maybe making a mess. But with the Diva Cup, you won't make a mess. I don't know about you guys, but I am so tired of the lining of my underwear having stains, like blood stains on it. It sucks. And then they'll never come out, and I have to use bleach, and I don't even like doing that. I use borax sometimes, but that still doesn't help me. But that's why I say no mess. I don't have to worry about when I'm at the gym or out and about at Disneyland or teaching a yoga class if I'm wearing a lighter colored pair of pants, if it seeps out. Because with the Diva Cup, it stays in there as long as you're inserting it correctly. I already talked about why this is no disease. So what is this material made of? Well, first of all, it looks like plastic, but it's not. So I'm going to read you directly from their website what it's made of, but absolutely it's not BPA. It looks like plastic, it's not BPA. So what this is latex-free, plastic-free, BPA-free, odor-free, and free of colors and dyes. The Diva Cup is made from healthcare-grade, non-absorbent silicone. Now, some people have allergies to things. If you have an allergy or reaction to silicone, it's probably not a good idea to try this. Maybe you can try it, and if you don't like it, then you can bring it back. I'm not sure if they take returns. I got mine on Amazon, and I'm going to provide the link below, as well as probably just for this whole video so that you can click on it. This was $30. And silicone is something that I'm not reactive to. I wear this thing just fine. And here's how it works. So it was $30 and free shipping with Amazon. And you could either buy Diva Cup. They have 2 different kinds. One for before women who've never been pregnant, and then one for women who have been pregnant. So here's what you do. The easiest way to put this in is to fold it like this. So it looks like a U shape. And what I do, and this is kind of graphic, but this is what I do. I sit down low like I'm in a little frog squat on the bathroom floor, and I just put it straight up into my vagina. Now, what you do, once it goes up, you're gonna wanna turn it so that it lets go and pops open and that locks into place. And as long as it's in place, it's not gonna leak anywhere, and it's gonna be super duper clean for you and sanitary. Now, I only change this like once a day. That's pretty cool. I'm not changing tampons all throughout the day and pulling strings and making a big mess. So what I do when I clean this is I go in, and I have to sit the same way. I kind of sit like this, and you want to make sure you're sitting over a toilet. You look for this, and sometimes it's harder to find that, so you kind of have to use your belly contractions. Hey, you get to do some ab workout while you're trying to pull this out. While you're on your period, you still get to work out. So you kind of like push it out a little bit and use your fingers to pull this out, and then dump the blood into the toilet. Go clean it with some gentle soap, like soap that is, not the bacterial-free kind, but just some gentle soap that doesn't have any odor or scent in it, and that's water-based, not oil-based. Clean that. If you're out and about and you don't have a way to clean it, just clean it with the tissues, like clean it with toilet paper. If you're out at a restaurant or something, you could just take it out while you're in the stall, pour it out, pour the blood out, wipe it off with some tissue paper, and then just insert it back in the same way that you put it in the first time. And then the next time that you have to take it out, then you can clean it out. Don't use hydrogen peroxide and stuff. All the FAQs are on their website if you have questions about how to clean it and for care. But absolutely, This for 3 days saves my life, and it saves me $5 a period. So in 6 months, you're gonna make your money back, and you don't have to put all that GMO cotton in your beautiful vagina that is a sacred space for making children and making love. So this is the Diva Cup. I'm a huge advocate of it. I highly recommend it to you. And because this little carry case is just so adorable, it's easy to take with you. And like I said, it does double up as a shot glass if you're out and about. Just kidding, don't do that. But I think I pretty much covered it all. If there's anything I missed, I'll put it in the notes below. Thanks for watching, and subscribe please below if you want to keep getting more information about all the different videos that I do. I do at least one a week, and I've got some raw and amazing information for you that I'm always dropping truths for you so that you can take better care of yourself and be your own best doctor. And visit my website, Diane Kazer. We've got radio shows every week that I record, Wellness Warrior Radio, and I hope to inspire you to your greatest potential. Thank you, Wellness Warrior-ettes. Peace.